So when things go out of wellness, when they lose wholeness, when we lose homeostasis, then we go to disharmony, disease, and out of balance. And so the question is, what heals when these things go awry? Well, this is a huge place for us to all comprehend. Nothing heals sickness, disease, or injury except the body's true healers. The intracellular healers that's in every single cell, T cells, microbiome, the body's true healer. So only life can create life, which means what? It means man cannot create life. They can build, they can be creative, they can imitate, but nothing they create is alive. So let's look at it one more time. Man cannot create life. They can build, they can be creative, they can imitate, but nothing they create is life. Now, the reality of the true healers has been ignored, suppressed, and challenged by the economic interest of medical and pharmaceutical industries around the world, in spite of the fact that the father of modern medicine proclaimed the truth nearly 2,400 years ago. Hippocrates, the one in which all doctors take their oath, said natural forces within us are the true healers of diseases. Nothing man creates can heal. So what's it really mean? It means that nutrition-rich, healthy cells heal themselves. God put in the cell of every single thing that is alive healing mechanisms. And those healing mechanisms kick in the instant sickness, disease, or injury comes. If it's too severe, then the cell dies, the person dies, the whale dies, whatever. But every single cell, if it is not destroyed, the healing mechanisms inside will begin the healing process the instant the need is there. So let's look at what this is really all about. You begin life as one cell based on a single fractal formula. Inside that one cell, that you, or millions and millions of organelles, and when the one cell became two, it was a mirror image of the one, and that same formula with the same organelles are in the second one. And when the two become four, they're in the four. And the four become eight, they're in the eight. And in fact, every one of the eight could have been the first one if they were first, because they're all exactly alike. So your original life formula grows and doubles from every, watch this, open cell in your body. What you're seeing there is a membrane of a cell, artist rendering, and it shows the receptors, and those receptors are being there to guard against the antenna that's up, and it's judging everything that's coming in the vicinity and determine what can get in and what can't. And that mechanism and that membrane says nothing that will produce sickness or disease can get into this cell when this cell is open and it's moving like it's supposed to be. So this is a huge thought. And all of us are going to get really, really good at being able to understand this and then communicate it. If we understand how the one cell works, we can understand how the whole body works, because every single cell is operating on the original fractal formula. So what's it mean? Well, it looks like this. The gateways of open cells receive the life that's in the bloodstream. Just look at how thick that membrane is on that cell. That membrane is so strong that there's not a single virus or bacteria or disease. Nothing can penetrate that membrane. It's too strong. And none of these receptors will receive any of that bad stuff. It's an open cell, and life is flowing to it and through it. Now, this is a huge statement by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is reputedly one of the top men, if not the top in the world, on the biology of cells. And he makes this statement, and we all need to get this internalized really quickly. The cell that's in growth mode is impervious to disease. In other words, an open cell cannot get sick. So what's the issue? Well, the gateways of closed cells cannot receive life and nutrition or water, and the waste can't get out. So the problem is not in our bodies anywhere, the open cells. The problem is the cells that are closed. So how do they get closed? Well, here's a major way. Stress, fight or flight. When an event takes place, either real or imagined, and the fight or flight signal goes off, millions of cells close instantly. And guess which cells close? Well, it's the life-sustaining organs. They shut down. We're not going to be digesting food right now. We're not going to be processing all the kinds of things that take through the kidneys and all this process. Just it temporarily says, wait a minute, we need all the blood to go rushing to the arms and the legs because we're going to either run or we're going to fight. That happens. We can't keep it from happening. It's a built-in safety valve that God put in us that saves our life in the face of real danger. Here's the problem. Fight or flight takes place whether it's real stress or imagined stress, and the results physiologically are the same. This was designed to protect us in the face of real danger, but we weren't supposed to live in a state of stress all day long. So when the stress passes, many cells reopen. The one on the left is open and the life starts flowing back through, but the one on the right didn't get the message, it's not open. So when cells don't get the message, then there is a horrible future that is ahead. The membrane of the closed cells lose their ability to stop the invaders. And as that membrane gets weaker, why? Because the interior of the cell, just like the interior of the body, if you don't get food inside the body, then you can't live. If you don't get oxygen inside the body, you can't live. If you don't get nutrition inside the body, you got to have water, got to have all that. Same thing in the cell. Remember, if you understand how one single cell works, we can understand how the whole body works, because it's just the fractal formula. So sickness and disease is guaranteed if the membrane of a closed cell does not receive a cell that opens, and the membrane starts being fed from the digestion taking place in the inside and the power that's being generated on the inside. So this is what's so important for all of us to understand. Does the shield heal, cure, or treat sick cells? And the answer is absolutely not. If you will get this and understand how this works, then when you get a telephone call, like I'm getting them every day now, do you think it will help this? Do you think it will help this? They're asking me to diagnose and say something about a specific condition. Well, the shield does not heal, cure, or treat sick cells. That's not what it does. So never tell anyone that the quantum shield heals, cures, or treats diseases. It's absolutely not true. The body heals itself, or it does not get healed. In fact, the doctors that have integrity, they'll do different kinds of treatments, different things they think, they hope will put the body in a better place, but they will continually say, we have to wait and see what the body does, because they know that it's the natural healers that do the healing. So it's not that the quantum shield heals anything. Remember, only nutrition-rich, healthy cells can heal themselves. So what does the quantum shield do? Well, here's what's wonderful. It opens closed cells to allow the life and the health and the peace to be restored. That's what it does. It opens. So how did we get here? Well, Dr. Lloyd and I, in the whole discussion of this whole aspect of photons and what the photon would do, I said to Alex, we need to talk to Dr. Lipton. And it was a great blessing because we were able to get two questions to him in about 20 minutes. And here were the two profound questions. Number one question, can a photon penetrate a closed cell? Sickness and disease, all those can't penetrate open cells, but nothing can penetrate the membrane of a closed cell until the closed cell gets so weak that it can't fight off the invaders. But can a photon at any time penetrate a closed cell? And once inside, can it open a closed cell? And his answers to both questions was yes. So this is what we're about. It means that quantum photons can penetrate the membrane of a closed cell. And when it does, this is what happens. The photons from the quantum 3 holographic chips open these closed cells. And you see all those little facets. That's what a hologram is like. It says even the very smallest part of a hologram contains the whole. That's what it's all about, a hologram. It contains the entire impression. That's why so many different frequencies are coming from the band, because it's a holographic band. It's not a single picture like the old pictures we used to make, but it is a holographic image, and it's putting out these multiple frequencies. When that happens, then instantly it begins firing up the mitochondria. Now, the mitochondria is a thing inside the cell that is called the powerhouse of the cell. And this is what's so beautiful. This is what this does. Watch the video replay from outside, because remember, everything God creates is on the basis of principles. So we've got light, we've got water, we got plants, and that produces chloroplast, which is photosynthesis, okay? And that's what takes place out here. But when we eat the plants, we get the water that's inside the plants. We get energy from the sun that's inside the plants. And it comes into every single open cell. When it comes into the open cell, then it goes into the mitochondria, and the mitochondria inside every individual cell is doing the exact same thing inside the cell that's taking place outside in nature in all the process of photosynthesis. And what it does is it takes the nutrition that comes, it takes the water that comes, it takes the oxygen that comes, and it turns it into chemical energy, which is called ATP. And this is what it's about. Adenosine triphosphate is a fancy term that says it produces the chemical energy that becomes the source of all the intercellular energy transfer. And it takes place at warp speed. And that's what causes somebody to be able to get results that they can experience and prove instantly. So what happens? Once that takes place, then cells can begin receiving life that were closed, and the intercellular healers can begin to reject diseases and things that are taking place. So that's the very essence of where we are.